सदाशिवसमारम्भाम् शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We'll start with this Dakshinamurthy mantra again 9 times. You can all repeat mentally with me. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Dakshinamurtaye Mahyam Shriyam Medham Prajnam Prayacha Swaha. Now we'll go to the Dakshinamurthy Stotram. I will chant the first Dhyana Shloka and then we will chant the first 4 verses that we have already completed with Sunita following me. And you can all listen once and repeat another time. Mauna Vyakhya Prakatita Parabrahma Tattvayuvanam Varshishthante Vasadrishi Ganeravritam Brahmanishthaihi Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandarupam Swatmaramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurti Mide. We'll go to the first verse. Sunita can chant after me. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam
Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam
Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivot Bhutayatha Nitraya
Pashyannatmani Mayaya Bahirivot Bhutayatha Nitraya
Yasakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanameva Dvayam
Yasakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanameva Dvayam
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye
बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः
बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः
माया कल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
माया कल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्र्यचित्रीकृतम्
मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया
मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
यस्यैव स्फुरणं सदात्मकमसत्कल्पार्थकं भासते
यस्यैव स्फुरणं सत्कल्पार्धगं भासते
साक्षात् तत्त्वमसीति वेदवचसा यो बोधयत्याश्रितान् Sunita, I think we've lost you. She's logged out. Sakshat tattvamasiti vedavachasa yo bodhayatyashrita. That was the third verse. And the last one. Third verse half completed. Yes sakshat karanad bhavenna punaravrittir bhavam bho nidho. Yes sakshat karanad bhavenna punaravrittir bhavam bho nidho. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. And the last one for today. Fourth. Nana Chitra Gadodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhavaswaram. Nana Chitra Gadodara Sthita Mahadeepa Prabhavaswaram. Jnanam yasya tu chakshuraadikaranadvara bahispandate. Jnanam yasya tu chakshuraadikaranadvara bahispandate. Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam jagat. Janamiti tameva bhantam anubhatyetat samastam jagat. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So we are seeing the verses of Dakshinamurti Ashtakam composed by Adi Shankaracharya. And just in these few verses, Adi Shankaracharya condenses the whole Vedantic teaching. Yeah? And this is also a stuti. Stotra means stuti, no? Stuti is, it describes the saguna aspect of the Lord. Saguna is with form. And at the same time, the stuti also glorifies the nirguna, formless aspect of the Lord. So both are presented in these verses of the Ashtakam. Yeah? Now, what is the Vedantic teaching? The Vedantic teaching is the vision of the Upanishads, Tat Nirguna Parabrahma, that formless supreme reality, Tvam Asi. You are essentially that. Yeah, very bold statement. And this is what the Guru will teach this Upadesha to the deserving Shishya who comes for this knowledge, who seeks the knowledge. Yeah? So the Mumukshu gets this Upadesha that you are not what you take yourself to be. You are much more than that. You are limitless, you are formless, you are timeless, you are Atma. And what does that mean? That means Atma is the nearest, closest, dearest to oneself. And who is that? Not my son, not my spouse, nor my pet cat. It is me. Yeah? So this is the nature of Atma. Atma is oneself and it is nitya vastu, not subject to change or time. It is Satyam. It holds for all the 3 periods of time and it is the experiencer, the subject. What does Atma experience? The whole world. No? Remember BMW. The world includes my body and my mind. So whatever I can experience, whatever I can know will come under Anatma. And Anatma is Anitya Vastu. Anitya Vastu means subject to time. And so these Anitya, Anatma Vastus, B and W, are experienced. Yeah? So there is another word, mithya, for it. So we have seen the nature of both. Satyam, Atma, Nitya Vastu, that is the subject. That is what the Shastra says is my real nature. And Anitya Vastu, Anatma, object, Mithya, is all that is experienced. Yeah? Then Shankaracharya, brings this highest teaching, makes it very clear through a lot of examples. Otherwise, imagine how dry it will be. Brahma, Atma, Atma, Brahma. We will just all go to sleep. So we find a number of metaphors and analogies and stories just to drive this point home. So we saw 2 examples. The mirror. What is the connection between Nitya Vastu and Anitya Vastu? Remember the mirror. The mirror is supporting the reflections. Yeah. So reflections are all dependent on the mirror. So mirror is in the example Nitya Vastu Atma, reflections are Anitya Vastu Anatma. Okay, another example of modern times is the movie and screen. We cannot have a movie without a supporting screen. Yeah? So what is the connection now? Anatma Anitya Vastu enjoys a dependent reality. It is borrowing existence from Atma Satyam Nitya Vastu. Yeah? So that is the nature of Atma, which is Satya Vastu, and Anatma, which is Anitya Vastu. Yeah? So we need to know both, and both are important. But which is more significant? Swamiji will say more real. Obviously, Satyam Nitya Vastu. So if there is a mix-up, if I get too entangled and involved in Anitya Vastu, taking that to be the absolute reality, then that is an erroneous conclusion. So the Guru's job, Guru's role, I won't say job, Guru's role is to dehypnotize the jivas. Yes, you have a role to play. You are Mr. So-and-so. You are a chartered accountant, your parent, son, husband, employee, boss, whatever. But all these are Anatma definitions, yeah, and which borrow their existence from the Paramavastu, Nityavastu, Atma. So this was brought out in the first verse. And this borrowed existence, Shankaracharya gave the example of the dream, Yatha Nidraya. Just as the dream, where is the dream really? The dream is in my mind, no? But And while I was dreaming, it was outside my mind. So too, Shankaracharya wants to say with an example that the world is also like a dream. In the sense that it is not independent of you. When we wake up means to this truth that I, the Atma, lend existence to the entire world. Now we saw that with many examples. If you take a flower, the flower does not say, look at me, I am a flower. No. The flower is perceived by a vritti in my mind, a thought. And the thought says it is a flower. So the experience of the flower is in my mind. Then the flower goes away. There is a pen, experience of the pen, or a person, or food, or sound, or a taste, or a touch. So the entire world is experienced in my mind through the data brought in by the sense organs. So this is why Shankaracharya says that the world borrows its existence from Atma, which you are. And we're giving the dream example. That is, so Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So Dakshinamurti, or my Guru, who is manifested as my Guru, gives the teaching. Tat Nirguna Parabrahma Tvam Asi. So you are the center of the universe. Then the question we should ask ourselves is, why am I, suffering and going about, mistaking and, having a tough time in the world? So this is why this Upadesha asks us to develop that viveka, Atma Anatma Vivekaha. What is what, to know it properly and to know the connection so that we can be free from the samsara. So this teaching is really meant for the mumukshus. Mumukshu is one, moktam ichuhu iti mumukshuhu, the one who wants moksha. For that mumukshu, these teachings will be very relevant and will come alive. Then in the second verse, what did we see? The nature of Tat, Ishvara. So bijasya antaha iva ankuraha. Just as the sprout emerges from the seed, so too the entire universe, the amazing diversity, color, variety was all unmanifest in a seed-like stage. And then by the power of Maya, kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitra chitri kritam. That nirvikalpam, that which was nirvikalpam, undifferentiated, pram, before, has become this Jagat. And how? Swechaya. Bhagavan is like that magician or a Mahayogi, just by a sankalpa, effortlessly manifests universes, sustains it and resolves it back. We saw this definition, when we saw the meaning of Dakshinamurti. Dakshina Amurti. Dakshina is one who has daksha, competence. One who has the capacity to do this. So that Mayavi magician, the nature of that was pointed out in the second verse. Then in the third verse, we have again the nature of the world and Atma. So the world shines by the light of Atma. I remember I gave you the example of the pot and clay. If I say that, if you say you see a pot, I will say no, there is only clay. So clay is more real than pot. Because why? Because the pot has come from clay. Clay has been shaped into a pot by some potter. So we saw that example. Now if we extend that logic to the whole universe, Bhagavan has manifested as the whole universe. So which is more real? The universe, which is a product like the pot, or the Bhagavan as the Karanam, the creator? The Karanam is more important. So this verse shows the connection between Karanam is Atma, Brahma, Nityavastu, and The universe is the karyam. Yeah? And the karyam includes my body, mind, sense complex. Is it not put together? Can I not appreciate that? No. All this internal factory we have, liver, pancreas, heart, brain, all this is an assemblage so intelligently designed and functioning by whose power? That is Sat. Sat Atmakam. Yeah? And the whole universe shines, bhasate, by that Satyavastu, by the power and grace and blessing of the Satyavastu. And this Vachasa, this teaching, Yaha Bodhayati, the who will give us this teaching and awaken us up to this fact? The Guru, Dakshinamurthy. Sakshat Tattvam Asi iti Vedavachasa Yaha Bodhayati. To Ashritan. Ashritan means not anybody. The one who has taken refuge at the Guru's feet, just like Arjuna did in the Gita, Shishyasteham Shadhimam Tvam Prapannam. Only then the teaching can begin. Yeah? So when Arjuna says, I don't understand what I have to do, please teach me, then Krishna became the Guru. So Ashritan is to the surrendered ones who want freedom from samsara, this teaching is given. Yeah? So yat sakshat karanad bhaven na punaravrittihi. And those who understand the teaching, with shraddha and who strive to get the teaching will not return. Punaha avrittihi na. There will not be returned to this bhavasagara, the ocean of birth and deaths. That was the third verse. We have also seen that. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Then in the fourth verse, what did we see? We saw a beautiful metaphor by Adi Shankaracharya. That was the metaphor of light. See the first word, Nana Chitra Ghato Darasthita Maha Deepa Prabha Bhaswaram. Now, this is called a samasa. We have to go from right to left. Bhaswaram is shining. Prabha is light. Deepa, lamp. Maha, great. Sthita, placed. Udara, stomach. Ghata, pot. Chitra, holes. Nana, many. How beautiful the Sanskrit language is. You can compress so many ideas in one word. So what does this mean? Nana chitra gatodara sthita maha deepa prabha bhaswaram. So Shankaracharya says that shining knowledge, which is like the light of a lamp placed in the stomach of a pot, which has many holes. So imagine a perforated pot upside down and which has got a lot of holes. In our homes, we may have these lamps, where we place one diya inside the lamp. Then it will just shine. So what will happen? Then we'll have beams of light. Through every hole, there will be light shooting out from the lamp placed inside the pot. And that beam of light will illumine the objects in its path. You have to imagine a dark room, okay? So in a dark room, you place the pot, perforated, and a lamp inside, Then that bright beam of light. If there are 5 holes, there will be 5 beams of light. And it will illumine whatever comes in its path. Yeah? So what is the analogy here? The analogy is that Atma Jyoti. Atma is that Jyoti, the light, which is streaming out through the 5 sense organs. Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin. Yeah? So these are called the Jnani-Indriyanis. These are the organs of knowledge which bring data to the mind. So here this metaphor says, Jnanam yasyatu chakshuradi karana dwara bahispandate. So that Atma Jyoti streams out, through the sense organs and envelops the flower, the table, the pen, the person, the tree, all these objects of the world, and returns, comes back. So you have to imagine the light of consciousness, Atma Jyoti, is streaming through my eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and gathering the data. And then what? In the mind, there are the vrittis: Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. No? If I take the flower, then the light of consciousness has bounced off the flower and it has brought this vritti into my mind. Ah, flower. Then if I smell, then the same light of consciousness brings the experience of the fragrance of the flower in my mind. Then if I taste, I'm not going to taste, but if I taste an object, again that will be in my mind. Yeah? So this is the metaphor that this Mahadeepa, what is the Mahadeepa? Atma Jyoti. That Atma Jyoti is the indwelling, shining light of awareness, of consciousness, which is streaming out and bringing in all the experiences of the world into my mind. Yeah. So here there was one more word, bhati, anubhati. So janami iti tameva bhantam anubhati etat samastam jagat. So here there are two words important. One is bhati. Bhati means shines. Anubhati means that anu is important. Anu means after. No? Like take the example of the sun. No? The sun, bhati, sun shines. What does the moon do? Moon, anubhati. Moon shines only by the reflected sunlight. So now you can understand in Sanskritam we have bhati, shines, and anything else which borrows light is anubhati, shines reflecting the light. Yeah. So suryaha bhati, chandraha anubhati. No? So here this shloka, Shankaracharya says, janami iti tam. Yeah? This Atma Jyoti bhati, shines, and the whole world shines after Atma Jyoti. Samastam etat samastam jagat anubhati. How? Let us take the example again. See, for when the sun shines, we have daylight. Okay. And in the daylight, I can see all the buildings and everything. But then, how do I see the sun? If I'm asleep, is there daylight for me? No. Remember that Krishna story? Krishna as a baby wanted milk, and Yashoda Ma says, no, this is not your milk time. I'm not going to give you milk. It's day. You will only get it night. So Krishna closes his eyes and says, give me milk. It is night. So Krishna has closed the eyes. So there is no sun, no day for him. That's so clever, no? Children are. It's the same thing here. If I close the eyes, there is no sun. So to see the sun, I need eyes, functioning eyes, Then eyes means eyesight. So the power of sight sees the eyes, sees the sun. Sun illumines the moon. Now what makes the sight function? How can the eyes function? Mind. If the mind is not present, eyes can be open, but there will be no sight. Then what makes the mind function? Atma Jyoti. And that is the Mahadeepa talked about in verse number 4. Yeah? So here you can see this, sun bhati, but again, eyes bhati, sun anubhati. Mind bhati, eyes anubhati. Atma bhati, sarvam anubhati. So, by the light of Atma Jyoti, the whole world is illumined, whole world is experienced, is known, and that is why Janami janami. So the Guru says that you are the light of all lights which lights up the whole world. Yeah? That's significant you are. So that is why in Vedanta, the world is not independent of the observer. The world is not external, but the world is an experience in my mind. And the mind is lighted up by Atma Jyoti. And that Atma Jyoti is what my true essential nature is. And that is the teaching of the Upanishads. Yeah. So that is over now. We are done with the fourth verse. This was a quick recap. Now, even if the Shastra says Tat Nirguna Parabrahma Tvam Asi, you are Atma Jyoti, you are, lighting up the whole world, you are Nityavastu, and everything else is Anatma. Can I easily accept this? Is it my experience? No. Yeah. What is my experience? I am Mr. So-and-so. I am a chartered accountant. I'm a parent. I'm a husband and son of so-and-so, employee. I'm, sometimes happy, mostly sad. I'm lonely. I'm fair, tall, and all these definitions and labels, we are very used to it. So the Shastra says that we have certain conclusions about ourselves. Yeah? And these are not absolute conclusions or absolute definitions. Yeah? So these are definitions and labels given to us by society, family, institutions. When I'm born, there is a gotra and there is a nakshatra, date of birth. But all these define whom? The body and anything connected to the body. Yeah? But if you are Atma Jyoti, all-pervading consciousness principle, then you are free from all labels and all definitions. Yeah? That is what is the introduction. We are going to the fourth verse. Now, before we start the fourth verse, the fifth. So the first four verses are about Shravanam. See, now we are in the terrain of Jnana Yoga. Yeah? Jnana Yoga is the path of knowledge, and one would need a very subtle, one-pointed mind, a little bit dispassionate also, dispassionate to understand these teachings. Yeah? That is why we have Viveka, Vairagyam, Shakka Sampatihi, Mumukshutvam. Then we come to Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. So, what is Shravanam? Shravanam is a systematic, consistent listening, to a live guru belonging to a sampradaya or a parampara for a length of time. This is the classical definition of Shravanam. That is, I want to expose my mind to the Shastras, to the traditional Shastras with a live guru for a length of time. Why? To know this Upadesha. What does the Shastra want to tell me? So now I have heard that. Tattvam Asi. Now what? Now once I have heard these bold statements of the Upanishads, obviously I will not be able to accept it right away. So then there will be doubts. How can I be Atma? I don't see any Jyoti about me. Yeah. And how can I be the most significant person? How can the world be centered on me? All these doubts will naturally come to one who has done Shravanam. Yeah? This stage is called Mananam. Yeah? Manana means reflection or chewing the cud. We see the cows will chew the cud. Chew the cud means reflecting again and again in our mind, churning it over the teachings. And also question and answer. That's why we always give time for Q&As. So cross-referencing, asking the teachers, or even doing group study will resolve the doubts. Yeah? So this is the next verse we are going to see is about Mananam. Yeah? Now, regarding Atma, there are many misconceptions and notions in the world. Even my own present understanding, I just told you, I may identify with some part of my life which is anitya vastu, anatma. Yeah? Supposing I am a mother, mother of 2 children. Now, is it my absolute definition? Was I always a mother? No. I was a wife before, at least in our culture. I was a wife before, then I became a mother, right? And I was not always a wife. I was a daughter. I was not always a daughter. I was, in the womb stage. So like that, Vedanta will help us to analyze what is Nitya Vastu and what is subject to arrival and departure, and these conclusions that I have about me. Yeah. So I will think of all these definitions. I'm, 60 years old. I'm tall. I'm dark. But do I always claim that I am Atma Jyoti, Atma Swarupam? Not always. Yeah. And even if it's there, it may come and go. So this next verse 5 shows us what are the understandings that people may have about Atma, the erroneous conclusions. Okay, so let us chant the shloka first. Sunita can chant after me. Are you there, Sunita?
Yes, Amma. Some internet issue, Amma.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam. Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam. Buddhim cha shunyam viduhu.
Tribalandhajadopamaस्त्वहमिति.
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 Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Tribalandhajadopamaस्त्वहमिति. Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Tribalandhajadopamaस्त्वहमिति. Bhranta bhrisham vadinaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpitamaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpitamaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpitamaha.
Maya shakti vilasa kalpitamaha.
Vyamoha samharine.
Vyamoha samharine.
Vyamoha samharine.
Vyamoha samharine.
Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namadam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
So I'll just chant once the whole thing. Deham pranamapindriyanyapi chalam. buddhim cha shunyam viduhu Stri balandha jadopama swamiti bhranta vrishambadinaha Maya shakti vilasa kalpitamaha vyamoha samharine Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Long words are there in these. So nowadays, all these stotrams are available in all the languages. So you don't have to worry that, you don't know Sanskritam. There are enough commentaries in all the languages, even foreign languages. But there is an advantage because when you understand Sanskritam, there will be direct Arthaspuranam, without an intermediate translation. There is a slight advantage. Okay, now let's go to the verse. So this verse talks about those who are ignorant of Atma. So what do they think? What is Atma? That is shown here. So they are Bhranta. Bhranta, see Shankaracharya will never use mild terms. He says they are all so deluded, so ignorant. Bhranta, Who are they? Deham, Pranam, Api, Indriyani, Api, Chalam, Buddhim, Chashunyam, Viduhu. So now we will go category by category. So the first category of people, what do they say? Deha. Deha is Atma. That means the body is Atma. What I see alone, that is true. I can feel the body. Where is your God? I don't believe in an invisible, formless God. What I see alone is true. And that is Atma for me. Adu poro enakku. That is the understanding that body is Atma. So there is, in Shankara's times, there were all these opponents, These are called schools of thought. Schools of thought means they will have their own philosophy. So the first school of thought are the Charuvakas. Charuvak, materialists. So what is their philosophy? Khao, pio, mauj karo. Eat, drink, be merry. There is nothing beyond this life. This body is a gift. Enjoy the body. In Sanskritam, it says, Ghritam pibet, rinam kritva, yavat jive, sukham jive. நீ கடன் எடுத்துக்கோ, என்ன வேணாலும் வாங்கி நல்லா சாப்பிட்டு புலா ரெடி ஸ்வீட்ஸ் குலாப் ஜாமுன் ரசகுல்லா எல்லாம் சாப்பிட்டு நல்லா என்ஜாய் பண்ணிட்டு இரு. அவ்வளவுதான் எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ஸ். So the Charuvakas are the materialists who believe that this is the only one life, and so enjoy. Incur debts, drink ghee to your heart's content, or sweets made of ghee. One will not come back. So even if you have taken debts, you don't have to repay anyone, and there will be no papa also. Quite a ridiculous school, no? For some of us. So this is the first school of thought, that they believe that the body is Atma. There are shops, when we go to airports, there are this body shop. It is completely a life devoted to pampering the body. Body shop products. And we have gurus also nowadays who talk about ageless body. How the body can continue for years, even beyond 100, 120 years. And their books are also bestsellers. So this is the first school of thought, Charuvakas or materialists. Then there are others, Pranam. They say that, but the body is just a matter of 5 elements. But what keeps the body alive? Prana. Little bit more intelligence is here. So the second school of thought, they say that the people who believe in the vitality, life force, prana is Atma, that which is keeping the body alive, which is making me walk and talk. The prana, which is doing all the physiological functions, that is Atma. This is the second school of thought. Then Indriyani. Indriyani means the sense organs. And actually not even sense organs, but the faculty enjoyed. Now we have physical eyes, but only if there is eyesight will the eyes function. No? So the faculty that I enjoy as sight, smell, taste, touch, and smell, taste, hearing, sounds, shabdadi, sparshas. This is more real. So this must be Atma. Yeah. So they are also into gratifying the senses. Enjoy and you see, taste, touch, the world is so beautiful, and let us enjoy the sense objects. And this is Atma. So the third school believes in gratification of senses, and they believe in enjoyment. What about the fourth one? Chalam Buddhim. Chalam Buddhim is the mind. Mind or the Buddhi. Now, when we see the world around, I told you how the whole world is experienced in the mind, no? The mind will say, this is a flower, this is a table, this is a person, this is an emotion, this is hunger, this is thirst, this is a decision. So see how many functions the mind has? Memory, recollection, decision making, emoting, feeling. So the mind is so powerful. Mind is Atma, says the fourth school of thought. Yeah. That's why Chalam Buddhi. Chalam Buddhi means it keeps changing all the time. So this school of thought, they admire the sophisticated instrument called the mind. Say this is Atma. And one more school is there, Shunyam Viduhu. Shunyam means zero. Shunyam means nothing, absence. So this is referred to there is a Buddhist school of thought who say that Atma is the void, Shunyam. Why do they say that? Because when I go to sleep at night, there is no experience, there is no mind, there is no time, space, world, body is also not there. But what is there? Absence. Yeah? Shunyam. So Shunyam, that void, that must be Atma. So poor Adi Shankaracharya, he has opposed all these schools of thought. He's had so many intellectual debates in his time and he's dismissed all of them. Yeah. Now, what do we say? We means we are on Shankara's side. Okay. Okay. Shankara's side means we can be called Advaita Vedantins. What do the Advaita Vedantins say? The one who says, that Shunyam is Atma. Who is saying this? That is Atma. Now, in deep sleep, of course, there is Shunyam, there is no experience. But when I wake up, what do I say? Nanna tungine. I slept like a horse. I did not know anything. So, that absence of experience was also registered. There was a Sakshi, an awareness, and that is Atma. Yeah? So, this is not about taking anybody's sides, I'm on Shankara's side and all this. But it requires that mananam I told you about. Mananam. Can I be the body? Body is experienced. Can I be the prana? Prana is also experienced when the prana goes low and high. I'm hungry, tired, but then there is an I sense in me. Then the mind is changing. The senses, senses also. How can I be all the five senses? Yeah. So like that there are some fallacies in every school of thought. So Shankaracharya will say that if you ask yourself, who am I? Who am I? Then the answer is the one who is asking the question. That is why we say Atma is nearest, dearest, closest. It is you. Yeah. And you the Atma, you have a body which is enlivened by prana. You have sense organs which enjoy faculties. You have a mind which is the most sophisticated instrument, they say, on planet Earth today, the human mind. capable of knowing, inventing, discovering. And you also experience the shunyam. Yeah. So by just this lot of, debates, Shankaracharya would say, no, Atma cannot be nothing. Atma is the changeless, ever-existing principle of consciousness, which lends reality to the whole world. Yeah? Now, in fact, when we say that I want to go somewhere, I walk. But what is it that gives you? What is it? The power by which one walks. That infinite supreme power is Atma. Like the poets have so beautifully said, the infinite universal power by which the sun shines, the rivers flow, the seeds sprout, the earth spins, the planets go around galaxies expand. I am able to speak, you are able to listen, we are able to understand. That infinite universal power is Atma. That is Brahma, that is Jnanam, that is consciousness. Yeah? And so we can see the various minds here, The minds which are not ready will not believe something which cannot be tasted, touched, felt, smelt. Just because a thing is not there, available for my sense organs, doesn't mean it is not there. Yeah. So all these become very clear when we study a lot of Shastras, and if one day we study the commentary, then it becomes like crystal clear how Atma cannot be nothing. Yeah? And now we can appreciate, for the teachings of Vedanta, one needs a subtle, one-pointed mind. Yeah? In fact, nobody comes directly to the teachings of Vedanta. There is a whole preparation, sadhana, chatushtayam, and then slowly we climb up the rungs of the ladder. But now let us look at the second line. Yeah? We'll try to finish the verse today. Second line is very interesting and a little amusing also. Stri, Balan, Jada, Stri, Bala, Andha, Jada. Remember these four. Stri means woman, Bala, child, Andha, blind, Jada, dull. Jada upamaha, like these, like these. Aham iti bhranta vrisham vadinaha. So Shankaracharya says that these vadinaha, these people who argue so foolishly, they are deluded, they are ignorant. What do they say? Aham iti. I am the body, I am the prana, I am the sense organs, I am the mind, I am void. So these five schools of thought, these Vadinas says. So Shankaracharya says they are like women, as ignorant as Stri, as Bala, child, as the blind, Andha, Jada, dull. Now I can see some eyebrows being raised, So that is why we have to clarify this statement, Now, Stri. So in this modern times of gender equality, how can Adi Shankaracharya, have said this, that women are ignorant? No, that is not what is meant here. If you look at the Zoom session now, how many women are attending? And a woman, feminine Swamini is speaking. And if you see in our parampara all over the world, there will be the number of female mumukshus will outnumber the men. Always. So Puja Swamiji will say that women are, highly devotional by nature, and they really qualify for this knowledge, provided what? Provided they don't get attached. So here, when Adi Shankaracharya says that these foolish people are like women, Stri, what does he mean? He means a certain mindset. Stri Buddhi is meant here. Stri Buddhi means the mind that is attached to the body, who is fashion conscious, always looking at the mirror, and also who's very attached. Women are a little bit more attached, I would say, than men. I may be wrong. Generally. So here, it doesn't mean the gender. It means the buddhi, stri buddhi. So Shankaracharya says, the people who say, I am the body, they have that stri buddhi. And the one who says, I am the prana, they are like child, bala, so immature and childish. Children are beautiful, spontaneously joyful and innocent, but they are childish, stubborn. So these people are compared to the fashion conscious, stri buddhi people, can be men also, who have a dehatma buddhi, or they are immature, childish like bala or andha, Now here, we don't want to sound judgmental, that the blind cannot understand Vedanta. That is not meant here. Remember Suradas, the great Suradas, he was talking to Krishna in his heart, visually impaired, but he had the divine darshanam. So andha here has to be taken as the one who is devoid of the eye of knowledge. The one who is refusing to see and understand. So andha, blind by the mind, that is meant here. And jada, who are the jada? The dull people. Dull means where there is more tamas and who refuse to listen also to the Upadesha and who have a closed mind. So you see, the Shankaracharya says, the people who say Atma is this, Atma is that, they are ignorant, deluded, bhranta, like the people with stri buddhi, childish like bala, blind without the eye of knowledge, and jada, who have thick tamas clouding their minds. So Shankaracharya dismisses all these 5 schools of thought. And then what? Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharini. So remember, this is a stuti to Dakshinamurthy. So Dakshinamurthy is the Moha Samharin, the one who destroys the Maya. Why do I have opinions? This has to be like this only, like that only, because of the power of Maya. And that is Mahavyamoha Samharini is the one who destroys the Mahamaya, who creates all these delusions. Now, Navaratri is coming. It is all about Mahamaya. We worship the power of Maya so that she will take us beyond the Maya to the Atma Vastu. That is why Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, the 3 aspects of Maya Shakti. The Durga Shakti will remove the tamasic effect in my life. And Lakshmi ji will bring in the positive rajas, the virtues and golden qualities. And Saraswati will remove the ultimate avaranam, the delusion. And then will introduce me to the Lord, which is Atma. Yeah? So this whole line, what does it mean? Maya Shakti Vilasa Kalpita Maha Vyamoha Samharini. Unto the Dakshinamurti, who does the samhara, who destroys the delusion born of Maya in the form of all these opinions and conclusions and errors. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Nama. Yeah? So, in the Vedic times, we had not only rishis. Rishis are Rishati iti Rishi, but also Rishika. Who is a Rishika? A Rishi lady. Rishikas are the great women who have gained this knowledge. And some of them names appear also. Gargi, Maitreyi in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Madalasa, the great queen. So these were endowed and gained self-knowledge, and they challenged kings and rishis to debate, on the subject of Brahma Vidya. So obviously, Shankaracharya does not in any way imply that women are not capable of this knowledge. Rather, he implies this three buddhi. Yeah? And Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Namah. So, these 5 verses so far talks about the glory of that infinite universal power that is behind the universe, that is making my body, mind, sense complex function, and which gives sentience to me. The power by which, the eyes, ears, everything function. In the Kena Upanishad, some of us have seen the Kena Upanishad. There's a beautiful question asked by a student. Oh, Guruji, Keneshitam Preshitam Manaha. How come the mind suddenly, lands upon an object? How does it think of something that happened 30 years ago? What is that power? Then the Guru says in one sentence, he gives the whole teaching. He says, Chakshushaha Chakshuhu, Manaso Manaha, Vacho hi Vachaha. My dear son, that is the eye of the eye, ear of the ear, mind of the mind, prana of the prana. Yeah? So that is the glory of that universal power, which is Atma Chaitanyam or Nirguna Parabrahma, which is behind the universe and which enables anything and everything to happen. The stages of experience, the faculties, and that is that Atma. So I will just conclude with a short story which comes to my mind in this context, So this verse number 5 was about the all kind of conclusions that people in the world may have about Atma. Yeah? And which is valid also, Like, did we also come to Vedanta when we were in school? No. I definitely took, me to be the body, the girl that I was, then I became an adolescent. So only when the mind matures can it go from a lower understanding to a higher understanding. This is very clear in any subject. To understand calculus, I must have done basic maths. Yeah. So even for Vedanta, the stage, in stages we come to Vedanta through Karma Yoga, through Upasanas, and then all this purification and one-pointedness comes, and then only the Guru will come to my life. Then Shravanam can start, then Mananam, then Nididhyasana, meditation, and then self-knowledge. Yeah, that doesn't mean I wait, for all this to happen. Whenever the opportunity presents itself, I do Shravanam, Mananam. So there is a short anecdote I will just finish in a few minutes. There's a story of 5 people, 5 blind people who don't have eyesight, and they are asked to go and touch an elephant. Yeah? Elephant which is tied, Maybe you all know the story, but it's very connected to Vedanta. So they go one by one. So one person goes and he touches the back of the elephant. And he comes back and reports, he says, it's like a wall. Yeah, number 1. Second one goes and touches the tail. He happens to go groping and he touches the tail of the elephant. He comes back and says, no, there is no wall. There is a big rope. Elephant is like a rope. Then the third one goes and he goes in a different section and he holds the foot. And he comes back and says, it is neither wall nor rope. It is a huge pillar. Then the fourth one goes and he touches the ear, elephant ear. And then he comes back and reports that it is a fan. It's a huge moving fan, viscery. And the fifth one goes and holds the trunk in front. And he also comes back and says that it is like, a huge pole-like object which is moving. So this story or this anecdote is often connected with the teachings in order to show that we all may have a partial understanding of Atma. The different people who said Atma is the body, Atma is prana, Atma is sense organs, Atma is the mind, Atma is shunyam. Yeah. So one has only a limited perspective of the truth, and that is believed to be the whole. Now, so Shankaracharya dismisses all these schools of thought in his time, and he establishes the supremacy of Advaita Vedanta. He says Advaita Vedanta accommodates everything. There is a certain stage. You may be a materialist, but then when you contemplate a little bit more, you will know why the body cannot be Atma. Then you have a higher understanding, prana, then the mind. Then, of course, there is a void in deep sleep. But then you wake up, who is it that experienced the deep sleep and woke up? So like that, he will point out all the fallacies and show that Atma is Nitya Vastu, and that is Satyam, and that is our essential Swarupa, and lending existence to the whole Anatma, body, mind, world. So I think that's enough today. We will conclude. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Thank you for joining in, everybody.